Hi folks, my name's Ashley. I'm one of the founders of Skira, and I'm here today to show you everything that's new in Construct 3 release 189. Let's get started. The biggest change in this release is probably the new support for Android app bundles. So if you export a project for Android, there are new build options for Android app bundles. These are essentially a new kind of format for Android apps. Previously, there was APK, and now there's Android app bundles, AAB. And excuse me, Google have their own documentation about how these work and what's different with them. One notable difference is you have a higher file size. You can use 150 megabytes size file for your app. Um, Now, this is interesting because you may have previously seen warnings when publishing Android apps saying that your APK is unoptimized and you need to use Android app bundles. So now you can use them. That warning isn't really especially significant for Construct games because they're already very multi-platform, and there's not really any particular optimization benefit to using Android app bundles. But the option's now there, and I get the impression that Google want to move everybody over to this new format. So it's a good idea to move over to that if you can. Moving on, another big change in this release is kind of an under the hood change, but the new web worker mode, which we also call worker mode, is enabled by default for projects in Construct 3. So this means your entire game, you can see I'm playing here, is running in its own thread in a web worker. Basically, in short, that means that nothing the browser does elsewhere can jank your game. It's complete performance isolation, which is a really nice feature to have. It also means if by accident you do something like make an infinite loop, you can close the window and it will terminate the preview without affecting the editor in any way. You can see in the caption here it says worker in square brackets to indicate that mode's enabled, and for existing projects you can enable that by checking the use worker option here. It's not being turned on for old projects because it's not guaranteed to be compatible in case you use JavaScript coding or third-party add-ons. But most of the time, if you stick to the official feature set, enabling worker mode should just work. So you can give that a try, and it's a nice performance feature for your games. Another new thing in this release is we've improved the image optimization for exports. So when you export and tick recompress images, Construct will optimize all your PNG files to be even smaller in a lossless way, so it doesn't affect the artwork or the art quality. And we've changed this to now use OptiPNG, where it was previously using PNG Crush. It's a lot faster, which is nice if you export a lot, and it produces much smaller PNG files. That's the most images in your game will be PNG, particularly because it's now able to reduce the palette from 32 bits to 8 bits. So that's a nice change to have there. Now, a lot of the other changes in this release cycle have been sort of under the hood reliability improvements, bug fixes, performance optimizations. So they're not so easy to show in this video, but there's plenty of new stuff. So go and have a look at the change logs if you want the full details. There's also been fixes for playable ads and a number of other things along the way. So we'll have plenty more updates coming for you soon. Stay tuned for more updates.